Welcome back to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Qualifying number 2 is just about to get started for this weekend at Slovakia Ring. Race weekend number 2 in the season, and yesterday has been quite a fantastic day. Very tight and very strong races, so we're really looking forward for this day. And this podium that I'm standing on is quite sticky because there has been a lot of celebration going on. Norbert Kisch has been on podium first, of course, twice. So let's see how the story goes for today. We had Steffi Halm on second place, we had Jochen Hahn, we had Sascha Lenz, we had Antonio Albacete, and so many more. So every fan out there, I think, will have the personal driver to fight for and to cheer for today. But of course, we also have our lovely commentators in the game. Jess Draycourt for the English-speaking people, Joachim Eberts for the Germans, and Fonsi C for the Spanish audience.
Thank you very much, Lena. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 2024 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Chaz Draycott here, commentating from the UK for this weekend. But look at this beautiful circuit that everybody gets to visit for the Slovakia Ring. It is an amazing round of the championship. This always throws up some surprises, always throws up some great action as well. It's a mighty, mighty long circuit as well, though. Pretty sure the longest one that we visit over the course of the entire season. It's nearly 3 minutes for a lap round here. We've had wet weather in the past where it takes it to nearly 3.5 minutes. 6 kilometres in length, 14 corners though, not as many as a Grand Prix circuit that you'd usually see with maybe 20 or so, especially with some of the circuits we do go to. But as you see there, it's only just past 9 o'clock in the morning and it's 23 degrees here already. It can be really, really warm here at the Slovakia Ring. Doesn't always look it, but it's always got quite a muggy atmosphere to it. It's a lot more windy today as well. Yesterday there was barely any wind considering how flat and wide this place is, but today the wind has picked up and it does affect these trucks. It will affect the conditions as well. The drivers will have a lot to think about as the day goes on. But though, we are going to look back at the action from yesterday, the first day of the weekend here at the Slovakia Ring, where we took on the first of the qualifying sessions of the weekend and then rounds 5 and 6 of the championship. What we had as well was a slightly separate or different, let's say, qualifying format. We've got the new format for this season with Q1, Q2 and Q3, but due to the amount of entries that we have this weekend and the length of the circuit, the qualifying session for Q1 and 2 was combined. So we had 25 minutes for drivers to get out there and set laps, and they took it really, really seriously. There was a lot of very close times between everybody, but it was eventually Jochen Hahn that was fastest in Q1 and 2 from Norbert Kisch. They were then ahead of Sascha Lenz and Antonio Albacete, and it was mighty, mighty close throughout the rest of the field. Lots of entertainment going on around the circuit though. Such a great atmosphere at the Slovakia Ring. But as Norbert Kisch took pole position in the end of qualifying, he then led from the front in race 1. There was lots of shenanigans in the middle of the field, loads of positions swapping around. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez lost the lead in the Chrome class and had to fight with Stefan Fast to get it back, which he did so with great success a little bit later on. But Norbert Kisch took his first win of the weekend ahead of Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. Norby continuing this 100% winning run with fantastic style, and a lot of the fans really do love him here. They come out in their droves to come and see him over from Hungary to Slovakia. And there was high spirits ahead of the second race of the day as well. A few little war wounds here and there on some of the trucks, and Fleisch even enjoyed himself down there on the grid. Stefan Fast started from pole position but had a bit of a poor start and started dropping places quite quickly, while Norbert Kisch scythed his way through yet again. There was an electrical issue for Luke Garrett, which I'm happy to say that they have fixed for this morning, and the battles were certainly fierce in all of our classes, whether it be Titan or Chrome. But Norbert Kisch took the race victory with Steffi Halm in second place and Sascha Lenz in third position. It was the same podium again in the Chrome class, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez taking the win over Stefan Fast and John Newell, and that moves Jose Eduardo Rodriguez into the top of the championship standings. But great vibe all round once again from the Slovakia Ring with our podium finishes, and despite losing the clutch 2 laps from the end, Norbert Kisch still won the second race of the day. 6 out of 6 so far for him this season. It It has been a remarkable start to the campaign, a 100% pole position and win record so far, and he's just highlighting the amazing performances that he can put in here. And all the great people in the paddock as well are supporting him and very envious of his results, but of course hoping to get up to that level as well. Speaking of great people in the paddock, though, just earlier we had Lena catching up with Dusan Koblisek, who is the president of the Slovakian Association of Motorsport, and she had a good chat with him earlier in the weekend.
May I introduce Mr. Koblisek, the president of the Slovakian Motorsports Federation, to you. It's really nice to have you. You're not only here as the president, but also with a second job for this weekend.
This is the national steward, as usually, on this race.
With your team in the background?
Yeah, of course. We are a very good team. I think we have finally not a lot of work, which is very important for the good race.
So what does it mean to you to have truck racing? Because I can tell it has a lot of fans. You have people from Austria, from Hungary, from all over coming just to watch the race.
I'm very proud that we have this race in our calendar in Slovakia Ring, because it's a very interesting race, and this is the 5th edition, as I could remember. I always also working here as a steward in all these editions, and it's very important and very interesting also for our neighbors from Hungary, where also the national heroes compete here on this track, and we have a lot of spectators from the Hungary.
Are you hoping that one day a driver from your own country will come back to the European Championship?
Yes, from our neighbors also the Czech guys was compete here, but it will be so special cars for our, and we are more specialized for the GT cars and the other discipline, and special the biggest discipline in our country is the hill climb and rally.
Yeah, we have a nice mix here also this weekend, from like small Formula cars to like the TCR to the trucks. Is it important for you to mix up motorsports?
Yes, this is a good idea, and we prepared as a first the truck racing together with WTCR. It was quite 4 or 5 years ago, and it was also very good evaluated, and it was the first experience to mix these two disciplines.
And I can tell you a secret, because I'm in off-road racing, and this racetrack has an off-road park, and I really want to visit it once the truck racing is done.
I was working as a member of the off-road commission, and we organized here the rallycross, and now also 5th years, I think, that we organize this very good event in October.
Do you race yourself?
Yes, I was racing 20 years, but I'm racing the circuit racing, Skoda Octavia Cup, Fiesta Cup, BMW 3, and also the hill climb.
So no trucks for you, not as a driver?
Not as a driver, trucks for you, but I have a lot of friends between the truck racing with Wojciech, but in the old generation.
Yeah, so one truck family really has another meaning again. Thank you so much for taking the time, and just back to you.
Thank you very much, Dusan Koblisek there, president of the Slovakian Association of Motorsport. Great to hear from him as well. And I've actually seen footage of the aforementioned Octavia Cup in the past, and it's a really good, fun series by the look of it. Some excellent touring car racing there all across Europe, and it's awesome to see that he's got experience in that himself. But we have now our trucks in the pit lane ready for qualifying, and you see what I mean. It doesn't look like it's red hot out there, you know. It doesn't look like it's absolutely, as we say in the UK, cracking the flags, but it's just warm and muggy at the Slovakia Ring. There's always a lot of humidity here, which is quite a threat for rain most of the time. That's one of the things with the Slovakia Ring. You can have a red hot day like we've had in the past. We've had 40 degrees Celsius temperature throughout qualifying, and then as the race got underway, we had an absolutely torrential rainstorm once. It's very easy for that to happen here. But the drivers and teams will now line up in the pit lane and get ready to go for Q1 and 2. This is going to be the same as yesterday, so usually we would have a 15-minute session where all the trucks go out on the circuit and the top 12 go through into Q2. Then it's a 10-minute session where all those 12 trucks go out and the top 6 go through to Q3. And then we have a 5-minute session, which is basically like a one-lap shootout with how long a lap is around some of these places, where that determines the top 6 on the grid. For this round of the championship, based on the 12 trucks that we have entered and also the length of the circuit, we have one longer session which is 25 minutes long, where the drivers try to determine who goes into that top 6. It's a bit more of a laid-back affair this time round in this part of qualifying, but at the same time, all the teams and the drivers that get through the top 6 have a one-lap shootout to get everything sorted for the grid in today's 3rd and 4th races of the weekend, rounds 7 and 8 of the 2024 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. There's Luke Garrett making his way out. Good to see that they got the issue from yesterday sorted. I was speaking to Lisa, Luke's wife. She was just saying that it was just a small sort of technical issue with the electronics, and it was like a £2 part, I was told as well. That just it's always the most basic of parts that can cause a huge problem. That's the thing. It's certainly something that you can't overlook in truck racing, is that while these machines are huge, really tough, really strong, really beefy, they can be weakened by the smallest of components sometimes if one tiny thing goes wrong. And unfortunately, that's part of motorsport sometimes, but the teams and the drivers, very resilient, and they continue on for another day's racing. They all head round the circuit now. It looks like a very tame affair, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that it didn't look like they were going very, very quickly, because what they're doing at the moment is just getting everything up to temperature, making sure the truck is exactly how they want it, and then they're going to go for it on a fast lap. They leave the pit lane here in championship order, so it's Norbert Kirsch leading the way, Jochen Hahn, Sascha Lenz, Antonio Albacete, Steffi Halm, Andre Kurzim, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Stefan Faas, then Mark Taylor, then we'll have John Newell, Louis Requenco and Luke Garrett. Although, to be fair, I'd say that, and I think... No, Luke Garrett was behind Louis Requenco just a moment ago. And Andre Kurzim is actually behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in this running order. It doesn't change it too much. There's no major implication from that. It's just basically having the advantage of being closer to the front of the queue and just having a little bit more chance to get clean air, basically, throughout these sessions. But everybody will do basically an installation lap here just to get the truck sorted. Yeah, there you see Andre Kurzim's Iveco. Very interesting front end on that machine, designed by the Don't Touch Racing Berlin team. You can also see as well, matching quite nicely the green highlights of the LCI branding on Luke Garrett's truck. There's the little shark fin on the back on the 5th wheel, which is there as part of our partnership with Total Energies. It's another little tiny sort of nod to them that we've had for this season. Thanks also to Yoast for jumping on as a partner for the 2024 Championship. We spoke to one of their representatives at Misano. And thanks also to Goodyear, of course, the title sponsor of the Championship. Goodyear provide all the tyres for the series, and they do a mighty fine job of it as well. You'll often see Davide Califano from Goodyear making his way around the paddock, and he's always somehow on the footage somewhere, whether he be there right at the end of the race, whether he be there during the paddock preparations as well. But Davide's a great character, lovely guy, really passionate about his work as well, and always great fun to speak to. Now, at the moment, looking at it, we have 11 trucks out on the circuit, and I'm trying to figure out who we've not got on track, and I think it might be Stefan Faas, and it is Stefan Faas. He's not come up on the timing screen at the moment, has Stefan. Just thought I'd try and scroll down on my timing screen, because it seemed like it didn't go all the way to the bottom, but no, Stefan is not there, apparently. He should have been out on circuit around where Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Andre Kurzim were, but we hope to still see Stefan out there. Keep our eye on the pit lane and the paddock in the background, see if you see the Tank Pool 24 machine. There is the number 23 T-Sport Burnout entry of Antonio Albacete, with number 44 Steffi Halm just behind. Steffi had some fantastic battles yesterday in the second race, in the reverse grid race. Tried her very best to hold on to the lead from Norbert Kish, who would be eventually going through to take his 6th win out of 6 races this season. There's John Newell, truck number 18 in the Chrome class. Currently, John catching back up with Mark Taylor in the championship. Mark's been really consistent so far this season, actually. 48 points to him. John Newell has 3 podiums in the championship, whereas Mark has just the 1 at the moment, but Mark's still ahead on points. It's the consistency in the first race of the day that's been helping him. The first race of each day scores more points than the second race, the reverse grid race. There is Sascha Lenz. Another mixed day for him and the team yesterday. Podium in the second race, just missed out on the podium in the first race to Antonio Albacete. But Sascha and the squad pushing hard for another strong championship campaign. They wear the number 3 on the truck because that's his finishing position from last season. Some of the drivers really stick to that tradition within motorsport where they wear their finishing number from last year, and I absolutely love that. Growing up watching the likes of the British Touring Car Championship, drivers always were, I believe, forced to adopt that. I think if you finished within the top 10 or something, you had to wear your finishing number to the next season. And a lot of drivers used to, and it's great as a spectator to get that because you get an idea of, you know, where everybody is seated, so to speak. So you know who to look for, you know, if someone's wearing a lower number on the car or on the truck, whatever racing machine it may be, then you know who to keep an eye on. We know to keep an eye on Louis Requenco there as he's off into the scenery, just checking how far far away the barriers really are. That looks like it's down at turn 7, or, well, the exit of turn 6. The turn 7's a little kink just behind him there, and this is turn 8. But looks like he's overdone it a little bit. I think Lena mentioned the off-road circuit earlier on. I think Louis was maybe trying to go out there to try and find where it is. But yeah, that big moment for him there. As once again, in the first session of the day, Jochen Hahn goes quicker than Norbert Kish. Quarter of a second between them. Sascha Lenz is now third. Antonio Albacete is currently in 4th place. Steffi Halm next up. She's quicker than Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Another time goes on the board, and that's Andre Kurzim. He goes quicker than Albacete, goes into 4th place. Good stuff by Andre. Slots the number 11 Don't Touch Racing machine in there. Don't forget, it's the top 6 positions you want in this session, because they're the ones that put you through into Q3. This is effectively Q1 and 2, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen there at the bottom. This is Q1 and 2 combined. As Antonio making his way back down towards turns 2 and 3. He'll be hoping to maybe improve on that, just to get away from the cusp slightly. Tim Frost there speaking to the team, just keeping an eye on the timing. The Don't Touch Racing guys are there as well, knowing that they've just gone ahead of them. Apparently, Stefan Faas, thank you to Andreas Ahn, by the way, who's, again, one of the most hard-working people I've ever met, never stops moving. He's just messaged me to say that Stefan Faas has got some small issues with their engine. It's running, but it's not spot on. It's not how they want it to be running. So there's a small issue with it, and they're trying to figure out what it is. Now, this is a long session, so they've still got a bit of time to do that. But you tell somebody you've got 16 minutes to fix an engine, it's not really an easy task, is it? So hopefully for Stefan and the team, they get that sorted. They've got a good championship fight going on at the moment in the Chrome class to try and chase down Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. So there's plenty to fight for them. And we've been watching a great battle with them since the start of the season. The points going this way and that way between the two. I know that they won't want that battle to have been spoiled by a small component and a small issue. But with all 11 trucks putting a time on the board now, except for maybe not a representative time there by Louis Requenco after his little excursion off into the gravel, it is Jochen Hahn that is top of the pile, quarter of a second faster than Norbert Kish. Norby probably still very confident with that time, though. I don't think that we'll see him going back out to try and improve that for the sake of a quarter of a second to get through into Q3. I don't think we'll see him go out there to try and beat that, like I say. But Jochen will be pleased with that. It's been great to see this as well, that gap in certain times has been brought down between Norby and the rest of the field. Because, as we all know, Norbert's dominance in the championship at the moment is unrivaled. It's amazing. It really is. And as I've said it before, you know, the teams that are fighting against him for this, they see it as inspiration. They see it as a positive thing to go chasing it, rather than sort of complaining about it or seeing it as a negative. The teams see it as something to aim for, and it's really, really good to see that. You know, they're fantastically switched on to this sort of thing. And you have to respect that Norbert and Reves Racing are really bringing their A game every single race weekend. It's such a professional outfit. Not that any of the teams aren't, but when you see them working and you see the way that they're just such a well-oiled machine, it's absolutely awesome to see it. And Csaba Bako, the team manager, is really on it as well. Lovely guy to speak to. He's really, really lovely. Very positive about his racing, but very serious at the same time. You know, he can go very quickly from being really serious about the racing to just having a laugh in the blink of an eye. He's brilliant. Really, really brilliant. And there's so many people in the paddock that share this same passion for it. At the end of the day, as somebody said to me a while ago, you know, we're not forced to be here in motorsport. We don't have to do this. You know, it's not like we're here against our will. So many people are in this because they enjoy it. As, oh, dearie me, someone's not enjoying something out there. There's a lot of smoke around the circuit. Is that John Newell's truck smoking? It is. I think John Newell's just had a big issue as he comes in. Speaking of having issues, though, Stefan Faas, I mentioned, is having an issue earlier on, and he is in the pit lane with, or at least the paddock, with Lena.
Obviously, there's something wrong with the engine today, we wonder. So, Stefan, what's going on over there? We're waiting for you.
Ja, wir wissen es noch nicht genau. Wir haben ein kleines Problem mit dem Motor, beziehungsweise mit der Elektronik am Motor, und da sind wir gerade am Fehler suchen.
Okay, so it's like the electronics that is like not eager to work today. They're not really sure what it is, but obviously the engine is not running smoothly, so they're trying to fix it as quick as can. So let's see if we will see him back on track. So if you're not able to fix your engine now, you just start from the end of the line, huh?
Ja, wir probieren es mal. Wenn wir es hinkriegen, dann starten wir von hinten. Wenn nicht, dann ist es leider so.
Can you explain quickly to the fans of this race, what do you normally do after a race? Do you even touch the engine in the evening?
Wir tun eigentlich kompletten Service machen an dem Truck und tun unter anderem natürlich auch alle Parameter, was am Motor zu prüfen sind, prüfen, also Öl, Ventilspiel und so weiter. Und das haben die Jungs heute Nacht gemacht, aber wir haben gestern am Fahrzeug geschweißt und vermutlich ist uns da irgendein Sensor kaputt gegangen oder so.
Okay, so they were welding last night, which they don't do every day, but maybe because you who are mechanics out there know that of course it affects the car, so maybe something went wrong there. Normally when the truck comes back, they're like overhauling or having a look at the valves, oil and whatever like makes the engine run smoothly. Everything has been fine last night. So let's see how the story goes for Stefan Faas today. Chess, back to you.
Yeah, real shame there for Stefan and the team. And now that, for those of you that haven't seen a turbocharger before, that is a turbocharger that has been taken off John Newell's truck, or at least the front end of the turbocharger, and the guys are working frantically on the top of the engine here to have a quick look at what's gone on. Now, are they literally just bolting another turbocharger on? Is that quite literally what they're doing? That's Terry there on the right, Terry Gibbon. Also a truck racer himself as well, so he knows these things inside out. And yes, they are quite literally bolting another turbocharger on the thing. Wow. You can see the size of the turbo as well. And you can, I mean, it doesn't take me to tell you, you can see it with your own eyes. That is a monstrous bit of kit. The turbochargers on these trucks are colossal, providing so much boost to these almost 1,200 horsepower 6-cylinder engines, nearly 13 litres in most cases, these engines. And Terry and the team certainly showcasing just how easy it is to work on these trucks. You know, you can see the size of the thing. You can climb inside the bodywork between the chassis rails, basically, and be on the engine to work on it. You don't have to worry about dropping the engine out or having any sort of major works that take an entire day just to get access to the things. It's one of the beauties of truck racing, really. It's great to see them working on this so quickly in the pit lane itself. They've got the boost pipe there, just sort of semi-disconnected from over the top of it, ready to go. So hopefully they can get that sorted and he can get back out there to try another lap. He's 10th at the moment, is John. But at the end of the day, even if they don't plan on getting him out there, then they may as well do it now. We're going to go back to Lena.
Yeah, we just saw Antonio Albacete go back to his box and we were like, what's going on today? Everybody seems to have issues and needs to fix something. Speaking of fixing something, over there we see John Newell struck and he also came back because he has turbo issues. So this is going to be quite an interesting day. I have been here last night and I saw everybody like working on the trucks, and he is gone again. So back to you, Jess. I'm like, what's going on over here? In and out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy time. Lots of people having issues all over the place. So, yeah, it's a strange one, this, but it looked to me like it was simply just a turbocharger change for John Newell. But I say simply like I've ever changed a turbocharger in my life and know what to do. So, you know, hats off to the mechanics. But yeah, like I was going to say a moment ago, they may as well get it changed now in the pit lane, even if he doesn't get back out for the rest of the session to go and improve on his time. They may as well do it now rather than it taking up time between the sessions. You know, they could very easily go, oh well, that's session over, you know, let's do it later once the session's finished. They may as well just do it now while it's in the pit lane and they've got access to do it. They're allowed to change that in there, so they're not going to get a telling off for doing so, and it's good utilisation of their time. Here's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He's currently in 7th place, and that is why we see him out on circuit. He's trying to improve on his lap time to get himself up into that top 6 to try and go through into Q3. No Chrome drivers going through at the moment. It's all Titan drivers at this present moment. And there you can see the guys still working away on the engine of the number 18. It becomes its own workbench, the size of the thing, as Luke Garrett makes his way around the rest of the circuit. Currently in 9th position at the moment with a 2 minutes 45.9. He actually improved on his last lap as well, did Luke Garrett. So he continues on. And now it's interesting to see this. Now that hole in the side of the bodywork, a really interesting shape down the side of John Newell's MAN. This is something that I've pointed out before, where some of them, they'll have a little cutout or a little sort of a gouge out of the bodywork here and there for aerodynamics. John has these really sort of abrupt sort of circular holes that go one way in and sort of then it curves back out again in the side of the bodywork. I've not seen anybody else do that before. And it's a really, really interesting looking bit of bodywork down the side of that machine. And it's something they've stuck with for a few seasons now. Here is Louis Requenco. As you'll notice, he is, according to the timing screen, 39 seconds off the pace. But that's because he had an off during his fast lap earlier on. So he hasn't had a chance to improve on that yet. He continues to push on. There he is, just going down towards turn 13. And that is a 5-ton race truck at 100 miles an hour. It looks amazing, doesn't it? Great looking truck as well, the Iveco of Louis Requenco. I do love this thing. A couple of seasons ago, he was racing in a white and green MAN when he joined us at Zolder for a couple of rounds. And that, blowing the cameraman away, was Jose Eduardo Rodriguez across the line. He's just improved and done a 2:43.6, as Lena is now down there with John Newell. She's found him.
Yeah, before I'm going to speak to him, I will show you the mechanics, because I'm a huge fan of like mechanical work in racing, because you really have to be fast. And as you can tell, this engine is bloody hot. They're like sitting in the steam. Also, like if you have turbo issues, this is one of the parts of the engine that gets like the hottest, of course. So I'm really not jealous about the work they actually have to do right now. So they're comparing timing over there. Let's see if he still is relaxed or if he's mad about what's going on today. Hey, John.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is not how you like planned on starting out today, right?
No, not at all. Terrible. Halfway into lap, turbo gone. So big problems.
So maybe you started out too hot and the turbo was like, no, that's too much for me. How often do you normally change a turbo engine in like the whole season?
Probably once if you're unlucky, but it should last the full season.
Yeah, we just spoke to Steffen Faas because he also has some engine issues. Yeah. So what do you normally do in the evening with the engine? Do you also like check on the turbo, or is this a part that just goes until it's dead, obviously?
Yeah, the MAN engine guys come and check everything on a night. And we had an issue with the bearing in the turbo last night. So we put a repair kit in it, but obviously it's not worked, it's gone.
I can tell you your mechanics are quite stressed. They're trying to do a good job. It's very hot down there. So let's hope they will get everything fixed so you can restart and not start from the last line, which then again would be you and Steffen Faas battling it out later on.
Yeah, definitely. I could do, if we can just get one lap in and see where we go.
All right, so good luck to you. Let's see one more last look how the mechanics are proceeding. And there's already the new turbo and coming. So I think they're on a good way fixing everything. Just back to you.
And that was definitely not a 10 mil being dropped there. That sounded a lot bigger, didn't it? But yes, the team doing an excellent job, really pushing on now to get that turbocharger fixed. But wow, a very quick turnaround for John and the team there in the pit lane. And at the moment, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is not improving on his time to get into those top positions, and Louis Requenco hasn't managed to improve either. His last lap was actually an improvement, but not in terms of position. Well, he came up from the back, obviously, but his initial time was going to put him just outside of the top 6 anyway. It was a 2:44.826 for him, ahead of Luke Garrett and then John Newell. So it seems like technical issues are the talk of the day so far here on Sunday at the Slovakia ring for the 2024 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Chaz Draycott here, commentating from the UK for this weekend. And apparently we're going to go back down to Lena for, I quote Sebastian, my director on this, something special.
Oh hell yeah, and I really appreciate everyone who's like watching the stream, the qualifying, the races, no matter if it's on television or on our live stream on YouTube. And I'm not a good singer, I'm a drummer, so please bear with me because it's time to sing. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Steffi, happy birthday to you. Ooh, ah.
Thank you very much.
I'm not telling you how old she's gonna get because we ladies never speak about age, but I'm very happy that you have a birthday race today. So you had a very good day yesterday. Do you have special plans today or just go with the flow?
No, yesterday was really good. We were lucky to finish on the podium in the second race. Now it's a new day, and at the moment for me the first step is done. We are 6 at the moment. I hope that Jose Rodriguez don't get the faster time, and then I hope we can fight for 4th or 5th position in the qualifying and then have a better place for the first race.
So the game has changed for this year that the top 6 are allowed to do the last 5 minutes. You're mostly in between in qualifying 5 and 6, so you're always the one who really has to watch the clock, what's going on. Do you sometimes, like in the morning, get up and be like, today I'm even pushing a little more that I end up on 4, or is it just the game as it is?
If I could, I would push to the first place, you know, but it's always a balance you have to find, because with a truck, if you push too hard, you overdrive it, and then you're much more slower than sometimes. One guy said to be fast in the truck, you have to be slow in some parts. So it's a really big balance you have to find with the truck because of the high weight.
Okay, you have done a fantastic job yesterday, so I'm pretty sure you will kill it today. And another trophy, hopefully later on, will be on her birthday plate, not on the cake. But I see you later on. Thank you so much, Chaz. Now it's gonna be on you to sing another one.
I'll tell you one thing, Lena, nobody needs to hear me sing. I can tell you that for absolutely free. There is no reason for me to sing anything at this moment, especially not at this time of the morning. It's not even 9 AM in the UK here at the moment. I don't think my neighbours would appreciate that. But to be honest, with how much their dog barks, it'd be good to get one back on them. Still, John Newell and the team are now, well, naughty turbocharger. that's all we can say about that, really. They're going to try and get that sorted. That's Rafael there beating the hell out of it with that hammer. And then Terry joins in as well to try and get it all figured out. Lena is back down there with John Newell, actually, to catch up on what's been going on, whether they've got it all sorted.
I really don't like what I'm seeing right there. What's going on? No. Put your helmet back on.
No, we haven't got time to get back out, so they'll just take it back to the paddock and repair it now, and we'll just have to start from the back and see how we go.
So you will just go without the turbo to your box and then fix everything right there?
Yeah, definitely. They'll tow it back. So.
But I will see you for race number 3 of this weekend.
Of course.
All right.
Definitely.
Okay, so that's British fighting. I like that a lot. So I see you later on. Let's see if they manage to fix everything. And Chess, yeah, it's really, this is quite a different day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very spicy morning here at the Slovakia ring. I love John, though. He's got such a great fighting spirit about it. You know, he's really one of the team players. He's got a great squad behind him as well in the NWT Motorsport team, and they will get it sorted and back out for the third race of the weekend. Here's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez then, literally just about to cross the line now. Can he improve on his previous time? He was only 1/10 of a second off. His best was a 2:43.629. He's just done a 2:43.768. It'd be good if I could read at this time of the morning. Checkered flag is out, and that will mean, I think he didn't quite cross the line before the session ticked over to 0. He might be able to get one more lap in, you know. Louis Requenco doesn't improve. He's done a 2:45.0. That time he was just 0.2 of a second off his best. But it is currently Jochen Hahn ahead of Norbert Kish, with Sasha Lenz, Andre Kurzim, Antonio Albacete and Steffi Halm on her 21st birthday going through into the top 6 as it currently stands. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez fastest in the Chrome class ahead of Mark Taylor, 8th position overall. Louis Requenco next up, Luke Garrett, John Newell, and then Stefan Faas did not get out onto the circuit due to their engine issues as well. We had 3 drivers continuing on out there to put more laps in. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Louis Requenco and Luke Garrett all did 7 laps each. And one of the people that got through was Truck 3, Position 3, Sasha Lenz. He's down there to have a chat with Lena.
Oh yeah, and these tires are heated up, not as hot as they can be later on. They have a new mix of tires. We'll speak about that later on in the third race of this weekend. We already heard yesterday that the tarmac is quite tire eating, but someone who has done a good job for now at qualifying is Sasha. He's on 3rd place for now, and obviously 3 is your lucky number, no?
I don't know, but yeah, we have a good lap. We are P3, but for now it doesn't matter. Why? Now it's the time to drive on P3 or P2 or P1.
Is this like your biggest goal to like finally beat Jochen there?
No, I concentration only on me. So now it's Jochen or anybody else on the front. It's
let you go because he is in the tunnel, as you say. He is still in the driving and fighting mode, ready to go again. I think I just let them drive and do their thing. See, the engines are starting.
Yeah, Sasha Lenz very much in the zone there. You can tell he was really focused on the task at hand. Certainly wanted to get on with the job and try and improve on his times. He takes it remarkably seriously, does Sasha. It's not that any of the teams don't, you know, I'm not implying that at all, but Sasha is definitely one of the most serious drivers you will see out there when it gets down to it. He's got an amazing sense of humour and he's such a lovely character outside of the truck, but when it comes to his racing, he is incredibly switched on and really on it, as you can see. Very entertaining gentleman, though, I have to say. Steffi Helm ready to go back out there then. There's Richard Keimberger on the right-hand side as well, the magical photographer that he is. His work is unbelievable. I always appreciate good photography, and Richard is an absolute star. Another amazing person in the paddock, and it's great to see everybody on my screen here this morning. Always love to see it. Always still brings a smile to my face seeing everyone in and around the paddock and enjoying their day. But it's going to be Jochen Hahn that will lead the group to the end of the pit lane. Then it'll be Norbert Kish, Sasha Lenz, Andre Kurzim, Antonio Albacete, and there, the aforementioned Steffi Helm heading out there onto the circuit. This will just be a 5-minute session now. Basically a 1-lap shootout for pole position. So the drivers only get one chance to put a time in, and as Steffi mentioned before, sometimes in these trucks you can't overdrive them. You have to go slowly in certain parts to get a good lap away. And with this being their only lap, their one chance to get a time on the board, you cannot spoil that one lap. So you will see a mix of drivers absolutely pushing it to the limit. You'll see other drivers maybe taking it a little bit more reserved to be sure that they don't overstep the mark. Interesting to see the front end of Jochen Hahn's Iveco there. You can see it's got this sort of rounder sort of bottom lip to it now. The Iveco's, especially actually on Steffi Halm's truck, she's using similar bodywork to last season. The bodywork sort of flicks out slightly at the bottom. It's got quite a pointy lower edge to it. Whereas Jochen Hahn's truck this season, it's almost like someone sort of sanded off the bottom corners of it, and it's a bit rounder. I think they were getting a lot of the bodywork caught on other trucks and wheels and all sorts last season, and it was causing it to flap around, eventually fly off, and they were losing out a tiny bit of performance for that, and it would make the truck feel slightly different. So I think for this season, he's rounded those off to sort of mitigate that risk so that there's no damage to the bodywork in that regard. As you can see, the grandstand above the start-finish straight pretty packed, full of spectators and fans. And the wind really has picked up yet again here at the Slovakia ring. It was a talking point yesterday, the fact that it was probably the first time we've ever been here and there was almost no wind in the morning. But right now, it really is a windy environment around there. And that's why the conditions can change so quickly as well. It can just blow in a really cloudy front and cause a huge rainstorm very quickly. And any moment now, we'll have trucks moving out onto the circuit. Mark Taylor's truck going backwards there, down the pit lane. There's Stefan Honen's. I think it would be an understatement to call Stefan legendary when it comes to truck building. And there we go, 9:46 on the clock, and 5 minutes to go in Q3 here for the second day of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship at the Slovakia ring. And our 6 trucks head out onto the circuit. It's Jochen Hahn, 6-time champion. Norbert Kish, 5-time champion. Sascha Lenz and Andrei Kurzim following on. Antonio Albacetti, 3 championships to his name as well. And Steffi Halm in 6th position on her birthday. Hoping to get a decent time on the board. She didn't make Q3 yesterday. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez made it through into the session. So Steffi has displaced him this time round. There's Norbert Kish. He won both races yesterday. He won all 4 races at Misano. Nobody has bested him yet this season, whether that comes to qualifying or races. Hats off to the wonderful people, by the way, behind the scenes. That we have a sort of a group chat with all the commentators, with EB, with Fonzie, Barbara as well, Andreas. We had a good chat yesterday evening about the pole positions, actually. Norbert Kish in Nürburgring 22 was not on pole position due to a black smoke infringement where he started P10. But I think before that, I think Andreas mentioned it, that it was Most 2021 was the last time that on merit Norbert Kish was not on pole position. If we reach August and get to Most, that'll be 3 years in the championship before anybody out-qualified Norby. If he's on pole until then, it would be absolutely an unreal effort, to say the least. But again, shows the dominance of Norbert Kish in Reveche Racing in this championship. It really is remarkable. And they continue to impress us and everybody else. But it's Jochen Hahn that was quickest in Q1 and 2. Let's not take that away from him. He's going to be hoping for a resurgence here to try and bring the fight to Norby this weekend. There was only a 10th between them by the end of the session yesterday. Norby just eked it out in the end. And again, you may think, well, they've only got 2.5 minutes left, Chaz. Why aren't they going for it? As long as they cross the line before the timer hits 0, they can complete the lap that they're on. They know that they're not going to get 2 laps in because it's such a long lap round here. So they're all winding themselves up for that 1 lap shoot. They make their way round towards the end of the lap now. Down towards turn 10 they go. I'm not sure whether Norby was putting his nose down the inside there to sort of have a look and give Jochen the hurry up. I don't think he will need it because they've still got 2 minutes left and only 2 corners effectively. And now they come down towards turn 13 over the crest of the hill. And you'll see now that the drivers will leave a little bit more space. They'll start backing up behind. You can see Sascha Lenz has really slowed down. Jochen's going to wind it up now, get up to speed. Round turn 13, they'll take a wide line through turn 13 to get a slingshot out of there across the start-finish straight. As you can see, Jochen then tucks it in late on the apex, gets on the power, and just listen to the Iveco roar down the straight. Makes a fantastic noise. If you've ever seen truck racing in person, you'll know what the rumble is like. It's amazing. And if you haven't been before, I implore you to go and see truck racing in person. Even if it's not your usual jam and it's not your usual thing to go and see, if you can see truck racing in person, please do go and experience it. I'll never forget the first time I took my brother to a truck racing meeting. Now, my brother's too cool for everything, you know, it's hard to impress my brother, but even when he saw the start of a race from trackside, the look on his face when he looked at me as if to say, what on earth am I seeing? It's a very rewarding thing to see. It's amazing, this truck racing. 5 tons, these machines, 1,200 horsepower, and they easily get up to 100 miles an hour. They are governed to 160 kilometers an hour. And the drivers have to be really careful down the start-finish straights. That's one of the absolute art forms of truck racing as well. It's not just flat out in a straight line. You have to respect the speed limits and be so careful of it. You can see now Jochen Hahn making his way through turns 5 and 6. One of the most tricky parts of the circuit, because turns 4 and 5 shift the weight from right to left very quickly in the truck, and then you're going all the way around to the right-hand side while the truck's trying to break away still, and you're on the brakes, slowing it down, tucking it into turn 6, and then turn 7, which is the left kink. We're just about to see Sascha Lenz go through there. You've got to try and straighten the truck up as quickly as you can. As you see, it wanted to break away from him. Onto the brakes into turn 8, make sure the rear end doesn't over-rotate, back on the power as hard as possible. So much hard work goes on in that section alone. That is one of the most key parts of the circuit, as Andre Kurzim steps outside track limits there by the look of it. I'm not trying to get him in trouble, I'm sorry Andre, but that was definitely outside of the limits by the look of it. So we'll have to see whether his lap even counts on the exit there, because that's one of the most pivotal acceleration parts of the circuit, and that is where drivers will get in trouble for it if they overstep the mark. Here goes Jochen Hahn then down towards the final couple of corners. Across the line he goes. And what is the time from Jochen Hahn? It's a 2:42.7. Norbert Kish crosses the line and beats it 2:42.2. Nearly half a second in it. Sascha Lenz just behind Jochen Hahn for third position. Andre Kurzim goes fourth fastest with a 2:43.2. Albacete a 2:43.297 as well. Just misses out on beating Andre Kurzim. Kurzim goes fourth quickest. Albacete goes fifth. And Steffi Halm goes sixth, but yet again, it's Norbert Kish by nearly half a second at the top. That is a remarkable, remarkable time for Norbert Kish, 2:42.2. And he continues this unbelievable run of form. Sascha Lenz, another third place for him. Andre Kurzim up in fourth, though. That's his best qualifying of the season. He put in a fifth place performance yesterday. And now he goes one better. Antonio Albacete, that's the first time this season he's not actually qualified third as well. That also means that it's Sascha Lenz's best qualifying of the campaign so far as well. So Sascha will be pleased with that, to be on the correct side of the second row. But Antonio Albacete is the, not standout performer there, but the sort of, the anomaly there is Antonio Albacete. I would have expected that he'd be right up there and fiery after not being quite as high up in the first part of qualifying, but unfortunately for him and the team, it's going to be a quick debrief on what's happened there and why he's a couple of positions back to where he normally is. It's not the end of the world at all. I may be painting it like it is so, but Tim and the team will be very level-headed about that. But Antonio will start this race from 5th on the grid. And Steffi Halm makes it through into Q3. Apparently as well, Andre Kurzim, out of everybody, set the fastest Sector 1 during that session as well. I'm intrigued to see whether there's any issue with the track limits, though, on that bit that we noticed at turn 8. Like I say, I'm not trying to get him in trouble, but I'm just intrigued by that. I'm here to speculate at the end of the day. But another exciting qualifying session in the books. It's great to have this format. I really do enjoy it. It may not be the same as what we've had before when we have Q1, 2 and 3 as separate sessions, but to accommodate it here at the Slovakia ring, Q1 and 2 combined, does still make it exciting. Because it's a longer session, it changes the mindset of the drivers and the teams. They have a lot more to think about and more time to think about it as well. And here is your result from qualifying. Norbert Kish takes pole position for the 6th time this season. Sorry, 4th time this season. Good maths, Chaz. Jochen Hahn in 2nd place. And it's trucks 2 and 3 and P2 and 3 again, with Sasha Lenz in 3rd place. Andre Kurzim, best qualifying of the season for him. Antonio Albacete on the other side of things, his worst qualifying of the season so far. Steffi Halm qualifies in 6th place. And then we have all the Krone drivers. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez ahead of Mark Taylor, who goes 2nd fastest in class. Well done to Mark. Louis Requenco next up, and Luke Garrett makes it into the top 10 for this session. John Newell qualified in 11th place before the turbocharger failure. And then Stefan Fass will be starting from the back of the grid for race 3 of the weekend, which is going to be round 7 of the 2024 championship. The live stream for such, by the way, is coming up at 12:30 local time to the Slovakia ring. That'll be 11:30 UK, in case you weren't aware of the hours difference. And they see it on the left-hand side of your screen. 12:30 CEST, and then race 4 a bit later on in the afternoon at 3:25 to 4 CEST. Just take an hour off that if you're watching along from the UK, like I am as well, and we'll be good to go. It's bound to be some more epic racing from the Slovakia ring, one of my favourite venues on the entire calendar. Such a unique racing circuit as well. It was actually used for a lot of the filming for the Gran Turismo movie as well, I've been told. There was a number of days filmed out here where they had artificial sprinklers and night racing and all sorts. A lot of it was filmed here. Again, with the fact that it's a big vast open space as well, with a lot of easy access. Great place for that sort of thing. They also used a lot of the Hungaro ring as well for the film. Unfortunately, not at the Hungaro ring this year, the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, but we look forward to when we can return there in future. I know that Norbert Kish and all of his fans will absolutely love that, of course, having an actual home race. But he considers this his home race for now, very close to Hungary, Slovakia. And a lot of the fans make their way out here. As Norby himself said yesterday, sees a lot of red shirts about on these weekends with the Revesh Racing branding. And he's got excellent support from all over Europe as well as Norby. He's a massively liked driver, a great character, and he's doing wonderful things with his team. And he takes another pole position here as well. Like I say, nearly half a second ahead there. It's almost like they kept that one in reserve through Q1 and Q2. He said yesterday, though, that he was having issues with the balance. Since the setup and the regulations have changed, though, they're not quite on the same balance around here. So we'll have to see how he manages races 3 and 4 of the weekend. I'm going to say goodbye for now, though, everybody. This has been Chaz Draycott back over here in the UK. Hope you've been enjoying the commentary and enjoying the show so far. I'm going to hand down to my lovely colleague Lena for some final words.
This happens if you're really fast in the last qualifying. Like Andre Kurzim, you're being brought to scrutineering because they're rechecking on the truck. I think he just had a very good night of sleep and did a good job. Him and Steffi always battling it out on 4th, 5th and 6th place. So for now, you have a nice position to start out for. And you, like, what happened? Did you have extra good breakfast this morning?
No, I think we learned for our faults at Misano. We have worked very hard the last 2 weeks, and yes, now we are here.
Okay, so I see you at the starting line at 12:35. You're gonna be back for our live stream, and fingers crossed for you. Good luck with scrutineering, by the way. See you later.